I always classify self-storage into kind of three categories. You have the stuff that's below, call it 15,000 square feet. Those are the facilities that they're not a business in and of themselves. There's typically attached to some other business and someone had additional land, so they put up a couple units, right? There may be a hardware store with some self-storage next to it, or someone that has a small piece of farmland, put some self-storage near the road. Those are typically not great to buy or sell. Very small amount of buyers. Typically, debt does not want to get involved on that. So banks don't want to lend on that. And they're so small that the revenue they produce do not allow you to hire people to help you. So it's not a business. You're basically just buying a job because you're going to be the person behind the desk working that facility. And that's fine for your first facility so that you can learn how to operate these things, right? Then you have kind of this next bracket of 15 to 35,000 square feet. These are going to be the facilities that you may be able to hire maybe a part-time manager or a full-time manager that also doubles as a janitor that can do cleaning and cutting off locks, things like that. But typically the revenue that gets produced from anything that's sub 35,000 square feet is not conducive for building a large portfolio. Because when you buy self-storage, you always got to be thinking of your exit first. Who am I going to eventually sell this to? If I have to sell this to someone like me, then I'm going to have to give some pretty large discounts on price, maybe some seller financing concessions, versus I'm always thinking I want to sell to the next larger fish up the feeding chain. Someone that's going to have cheaper cost of capital than me, cheaper cost of equity, cheaper cost of debt, so that they can pay more for an asset that is basically an armchair investment. I've already done all the hard work, and now they're going to pay me a premium for that hard work I did. So where we are playing in now is between that 35 to 65,000 square feet range. I call this kind of like sub-institutional range, but one that you can run a business with. So you have enough revenue coming in that you can hire, people to do, cut the grass and sit behind the desk and meet with tenants. You can hire a team. So now it's truly a business at this point, at this size. And then typically what we do is we buy these assets that are between 35 to 65 to then expand them to be above 65,000 square feet. And anything above 65,000 is typically considered an institutional asset that someone on the top 100 operators list is willing to buy, including myself.